do this. I just put on the Zoom recording and we are recording on the GarageBand in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to another edition of the Tom Green Podcast. Week 1 is finally here. Yes, we have been waiting long and hard for this, a season that isn't quite normal yet, but about as close to normal as we have gotten since this whole pandemic has started. Hope everyone's staying safe out there and hope everyone that wants to gets their vaccine. I've been double vaccinated myself. It's a great feeling. We're getting some NFL football coming back. And with that, we have a guest on our show from the 49ers hub. We're unsure if he found the gold at the end of the gold rush in 1849, but we're actually pretty sure that he didn't because he is with us right now. He is Matt Woolsey. He is from the 49ers hub. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Glad to be here. Yeah, I'm not quite that old. Actually, I don't consider myself old at all. So I would love to find some gold, though. If anyone knows where I can find some, let me know. Hit me up, and I will definitely go. I've got no problem digging for it.
That's for sure. I'm sure we'd all like to find some gold at over $1,700 an ounce. I'll definitely take a few ounces of that. Get me some cold, hard cash. That's for sure. So with that, you are part of the 49ers sub, and tell us a little bit about that, the ins and outs of working that website. Is this kind of a fun project, or is this something that is your day job?
No, it's just a fun thing. I'm actually not I actually don't run it. I'm just a contributor, a writer on it. I've been writing since I think before the 2019 season started. I've been pumping out articles for them. They were looking for writers on Twitter. I just happened to go, you know what? I'm going to shoot my shot. So I sent him an email. I sent him a few articles or a few things that I've written up over the years. And they said, "Hey, come on board. Can't pay you, but we'll sure like to have you as a writer." So I've been doing that ever since.
Sure thing. You got to get your foot in the door at some point if you want to work in the sports world, which thankfully now I'm a week into working the sports world, of course, for the Huron Daily Tribune. So we're covering local teams here in the Thumb area of Michigan, but still getting that foot in the door and starting the sports experience. So working the ins and outs of that, any advice you'd have to offer for anybody that's looking to work in the sports or writing world?
Take your shot. And that's just not just in the sports world. I think that's just in the world period. You just got to take your shot. You never know when someone's willing to take a chance on you. My day job was one that actually I wasn't qualified for, but I took my shot and they said, "Well, we'll train you along the way." So as the great Michael Scott once quoted Wayne Gretzky, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take."
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott, Matt Woolsey, Tom Green. That's for sure. Definitely, and I second that when it comes to the advice. So moving to our preview, we got the Lions and the Niners coming up on this Sunday afternoon. A few shout outs. Got to make shout out to Kooks, Nate Kukla, we went to high school with, who had the audacity to go into Mr. Ethan Shannon's class, which is my old chemistry teacher, and show everybody up with a 49ers shirt. Yes, he wore his 49ers stuff. He loved his 49ers. Shout out to Kooks. Shout out to Shannon Farron as well. KFI Radio, works for the Chargers as a sideline reporter, but is an avid 49ers fan as well. Shout out to Tracy Sandler as well, who is a team reporter for the San Francisco 49ers. So I know a few people, haven't necessarily met the other two, but I know of a few people on the 49ers beat, and definitely glad to have Matt on the beat to hear his take on the San Francisco 49ers. So with that, what are some of your season expectations for this crew?
Last year was supposed to be dubbed, the revenge tour Unfortunately, the revenge tour had a flat tire the moment Nick Bosa went down in week 2. Yeah, I think he made it with 3-2, and it went all downhill from there. Injuries and whatnot. COVID played a part. I remember one time I don't think we had a single starter in because they all were benched due to COVID.
I'll interrupt you real fast for a second here. When Santa Clara County decided that it was unsafe for the 49ers to play in their county because of COVID, this made no sense to me, and I hope it's the same way for you. They moved from a county that basically said, no, you can't play here, to an area that was worse with COVID in Glendale, Arizona. What was your reaction to that?
It, I think it was just the whole last year was just, it was a mess. I think there was people not knowing which way was up, which way was down.
Right.
No one know if they were heading left, they're heading right. And yeah, that made no sense to me whatsoever. I'm hoping that as yes, there, the Delta variant is taking off a little bit. I'm hoping maybe there are, people are looking with a clear mind when they're making decisions.
Exactly. And hopefully people will do what they feel is best. So anything else you have to add to the season expectations?
Uh, Again, just said, well, I'm not going to push for a 13-3. That's what I said last season. But I would like to at least see a playoff berth. That's my expectations, a playoff berth.
Sure thing. As far as what I think about the 49ers, it all depends on who's starting at this point. I'm sure you'll back me up on this, but whenever Jimmy G was starting, the Niners looked great. The Niners went to the Super Bowl. They had a 10-point lead in said Super Bowl in the fourth quarter. However, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs came back to win said Super Bowl. Won't give you bad memories there, but I will say the main point is if Jimmy G is the main man in this group, the Niners are going to do great. When Jimmy G's hurt, it has been a circus of who's going to play quarterback, what's going to be good around here, and so far it hasn't been all that much. So that leads me to my next question. I'll go Niners. Let's go 10-7 for right now, but it's all going to really depend on this next question I have for you, and that is who do you think should be and or will be starting, say on Sunday, Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo?
Let's even taking Trey Lance's finger injury out of the equation. I think it's Jimmy Garoppolo. I think the team made a good decision keeping Jimmy Garoppolo. I am all for, let the rookies sit, let the rookies learn. I'm not saying Trey Lance is Patrick Mahomes, but Patrick Mahomes got 1 year to sit behind. It's 1 year sitting the Chiefs behind Alex Smith. So again, Trey Lance, he's not Patrick Mahomes, but Kyle Shanahan's got this. His playbook has been said to be extremely hard. The plays are intricate. He's a mad scientist. He's a mad genius. So I want Trey Lance to have all the opportunity to learn. So let him sit, let Jimmy play.
Yes, and that was pretty much my answer before I even asked the question to you. Jimmy G has got to start for this team to make a playoff run. Yes, the trend in the NFL has been start the rookie quarterback right away, but where has that actually gone? I mean, Andrew Luck was all right before he retired in 2019 abruptly. I mean, we think that hopefully Trevor Lawrence will be okay, but we haven't seen him play a snap in a regular season game yet. We've seen a few other quarterbacks that have been duds to start off that look like studs, but the team has played like a dud, i.e. Justin Herbert. He looks good, but the team has played like a dud. So we shall see what happens. But right now, you got to go with Jimmy G to start. But who knows? If he gets hurt again, I guess this is kind of a question within the question. If he gets hurt again, should the Niners just move on from Jimmy G? If he gets hurt.
I think at that point, yeah. That's kind of been the Jimmy G, other than the occasional interception. Jimmy G's biggest knock has been health. He tore his ACL in 2018. They had the great run in 2019. And then he was in and out of the lineup until they finally just sat him with an ankle injury last year. So there's definitely a history. He's also, I think he had a shoulder or a hand injury when he was in New England, when he finally got the start when Brady was sitting for his 4-game suspension. So he's definitely has the injury bug. So yeah, if he gets injured, then just go ahead and let Trey Lance take the reins.
Yeah, because at some point, yes, Garoppolo has proven that he is a great quarterback, but he just has to stay healthy for God's sakes. And hopefully he will do that this season. So for the Lions, what do I think about the Lions? I'll go ahead and answer because I'm the Lions guy here. You know, I'm impressed with Dan Campbell to a point. I mean, yes, I thought about having a pacemaker getting put in because of all the hearing about all the venti shots and caffeine that he drinks all the time, and the biting kneecaps and getting up again and biting more kneecaps. That sounds like a lot of fun. But let's be honest with this team. The offensive line is finally where it should be, but everything else is just kind of out of place. Yes, they have decent running backs in DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. It's always good when a Packer decides to go to the Lions. It's always good because we need more traders like that. You can see how much of a Packer hater I am a little bit.
My wife will hate to hear that.
Uh-oh. But yes, it's always good to see Packers trade over the Lions, i.e. TJ Lang. Unfortunately, he's retired now, but you see where I get there. So the offensive line is pretty good, but who exactly does Jared Goff get to throw to? Tyrell Williams? Khalif Raymond? Trinity Benson? Quintez Cephas? Okay, they have TJ Hawkinson, but who else? So if I were the Lions, I would utilize the offensive line that you have and run the ball up the team's throats until you can't, because that's how you may have a chance to win ball games. I mean, yeah, you have a bunch of second string wide receivers and Jared Goff has played in a Super Bowl, but what have you got? I'll drink my venti shots and hopefully the caffeine will generate us to a victory. That's about really all I can say. Lions go 5-12. I hope they're better than that. I hope one of those 5 victories are over the Packers, but still not a lot of faith, but not necessarily they're just a bunch of bums again. Yes, I may be talking about them like they're bums, but they're not, because Dan Campbell has them going in the right direction. He just needs a little bit more, and they just need a little bit more to rebuild. What are your thoughts on the Detroit Lions?
Well, pass catch, I mean, has been kind of the story since Calvin Johnson retired. I mean,
Yes.
They've never really had they've had some decent pass catchers, but no, I don't know. It seems like you can't find a clear number one. So when quarterbacks got no one to throw to, and you're putting more pressure maybe on the running game, then I think that puts a team in trouble. I mean, Stafford wasn't a terrible quarterback. I mean, he's a gunslinger. He knew how to put up yards, but I think sometimes the people around him just wasn't able to put in their weight. So yeah, I think lack of receiving core is going to put the Lions out of potentially quite a few games.
And let's not forget about this defense. Oh, it was atrocious last year, giving up the most points in Lions history, even worse than the 2008 defense. Although there were times where it did not seem that way, the stat says it was that way because indeed they actually won games this time, unlike the 2008 Lions team. But Brad Holmes so far has not done a whole lot on the defensive side of the ball. But let's also keep in mind that Jamie Collins was hurt all season, one of the ringleaders of this defense. And there were other pieces that were hurt as well. So, in a way, Holmes didn't have to do a whole lot because of injuries, but it's definitely concerning when your defense gave up the most points in the team's history and you still haven't done a whole lot about it. So, that's not going to help in all these games, that's for sure.
I think also when you have a head coach, back before Dan Campbell with Matt Patricia, you had this defensive minded coach. How can you have a defense that is so atrocious? But actually, if you look back to even some Patriot games, even then Matt Patricia's defense, it had holes. So, which actually makes me wonder, is Matt Patricia really the guy that everyone made him out to be?
That's true. And even there were a lot of big games that Tom Brady, of course, played in that were high scoring. And it wasn't necessarily because of Tom Brady's great ability. It was and the wide receivers' ability as well. But it was because the defense was giving up so many points that Brady had to outscore them.
Yep.
Exactly. So I'm thinking 5-12 for the Lions. Do you have a record in mind that would fit for the Lions?
I think you could win a couple more than that. I'm gonna go 7-10.
You're gonna go 7-10, but I also have the same feeling. The defense. Please prove me wrong, Lions defense, if any of you are actually listening to this podcast. With that said, the next question was, what should the offense do? And I kind of gave my answer, and that was run the ball up the gut as much as you can, even if you're behind, because that's what seems to gonna work so far to start this season. Because remember, we do have somewhat of an offensive line now. Matthew Stafford really did not have that luxury when he was a Detroit Lion. And that was because Martin Mayhew and partially Bob Quinn too said, oh, offensive line? Never heard of her. And decided to just let Stafford gunsling it out the whole way. Credit to Quinn where it's due. He did fix some pieces on the offensive line, but everything else went to bust. It's like my golf game. The driver can be great. The irons can be pretty good. The putter's a bust. Or the putter is a bust. The irons are okay, but I'm spraying it off the tee. Or I'm hitting it 300 yards off the tee, but I'm spraying my irons and I'm still getting a double bogey on the hole. If you're a golfer, you know about the Detroit Lions struggles right now.
I have only golfed one time in my life. It was terrible. So I probably looked worse than the Lions out there with my ball going, I'm trying to hit it right. It's going left. I actually was surprised myself on a couple good putts. But other than, I probably looked like a 2-14 team out there with my golfing. So hopefully your Lions do better than my golf game.
Sure. And what do you think that the Lions should be doing on offense this year with kind of what we've been talking about?
As far as week one, let's just put it that way. As far as week one against the 49ers, I think the way the Lions offense, the way they could succeed is actually, I think they got to play a quick game. Some of the success the 49ers had in 2019 was they were able to rotate guys in and out, keep the defense fresh. If the Lions are playing a little more quick ball, you could still run the ball and still be quick, to the line. Don't allow 49ers to run players in and out, keep them on their toes. I think is going to be the best way they can, is their best bet for going up against this defense.
Sure thing. So we talked about both teams a little bit. Now we're going to go keys to the game. So how do the Niners go from the West Coast to the East Coast and play at 10 a.m. or 1 p.m. our time and beat Detroit at Ford Field?
Don't turn the ball over. Don't turn the ball over. 49, they went from San Francisco all the way to Tampa Bay a couple years ago and won. They didn't turn the ball over. So don't turn the ball over. Jimmy G, if you're listening to this, I doubt it, but by that off chance you are, please only throw to white, red and white. Don't throw any of them blue players.
Good deal. As far as me, I'm hoping that he does throw to some blue players, but that's just me. For spread purposes, this is a 6.5 point spread. I believe it's either 6.5 or 7.5. But I did have to mention, because I have a Niners fan on the show, that the team formerly known as the Washington Redskins had actually covered against the San Francisco 49ers, I believe in 2018, without scoring a point. I'm sure you remember that game. It was a 9-point spread, and the Niners won 8-0.
Was that the rain game?
Yes.
Oh, you know what? I actually have a picture of that on my computer right now as a wallpaper.
There you go. But good history for you. The team then known as the Redskins covered against the 49ers without scoring a point.
That's fine as long as the 49ers come away with the W. I don't care if the Lions cover or the former team known as the Redskins cover or the Vikings cover. I don't care if any team covers as long as the 49ers come away with the W.
Fair enough. I'm a little bit more of a betting man, but I get it totally. So that was a spread. I'll tell you my keys to the game. And the keys for the Niners is, one, Jimmy G's got to start. Like we had said, if Jimmy G starts, the team is great. If Jimmy G's not, the team is lost. Two, like you had said, don't turn the ball over. A staple quote from the show last season that I'm going to bring back for this season, of course: turnovers, great at Arby's, not on the field. And three, the Lions have a very porous defense. Keep it that way. Don't get intimidated by the Ford Field crowd. Keep it that way. Sling the ball out to your wide receivers. Get the ground game running with, I believe, Jerick McKinnon as their starter this year. It's been
Raheem Mostert.
Raheem Mostert. Thank you. It's been that's a running back by committee in San Francisco. Raheem Mostert is their starter.
Yes, it is.
Pound the ball with Mostert. Get the ball to your wide receivers. You get through the porous defense, you're going to come away with a victory, despite you being tired because you're on West Coast time in the East Coast. You're playing a game virtually at 10 a.m. As for the Lions go, one, make the Niners tired. They're playing at 10 a.m. body time. Make it feel like it's 10 a.m. body time. Intimidate them as much as you can with somehow getting an interception or two on defense, recovering a fumble, making Jimmy G look like the Jimmy G before EIU. Two, run the ball, pound the rock. If you have really not many players to throw to, pound the rock, run it up the gut. You're going to tire the defense out if you get enough yards on each play. If you get 4 yards a play, you're going to tire the defense out because you're going to get a first down on third down every single time if you get 4 yards every play. And kind of like I'd said, three, win the turnover game. Because if you win the turnover game, you're most likely going to win the game, especially at home in downtown Detroit. With that all said, score predictions at 4 p.m. our time, since you are actually on the East Coast and not on the West Coast. How are you going to be feeling? Will the Niners win, or will Detroit pick up the win?
I think I'm going to be happy. I think the 49ers are going to win. And I'm going to say, with it being an East Coast game, first week, things are a little crazy. I think the Lions will cover. I'm going to go 21-17.
You're going to go 21-17 San Francisco. I am going to go 27-20 San Francisco. I kind of think the same thing. I think you're going to see an even turnover game. I think the Lions will get a turnover in the first half that will somewhat intimidate the 49ers, but the Niners will make halftime adjustments. They'll be down 17-7-ish, around that at halftime. And they're going to come back to win 27-20, as the Lions still could not find a way to score second half points, because for the life of me, they could score 50 first half points, and still lose 53-50 because that's how Lions games have gone in the past 10 years, unfortunately.
Well, again, as my wife is a Packers fan, I have watched many Lions games.
So you can kind of back me up on that. Where,
Yeah, well, one that comes to mind was a Hail Mary game.
oh, yep, yes, that game.
Monday night. Was it it was either a Monday night or Thursday night?
Thursday night. It was
Thursday night.
Thursday after Thanksgiving because I had to work. I had to work an opening shift the next day at the fuel center at the Kroger's I was working at. I did not get a lot of sleep, and not for very good reason.
I remember, yeah. So yeah, I remember. Yeah, and I think there was another game. I do believe it was the Lions, and it just seemed like the Lions had the Packers, and somehow at the end, Aaron Rodgers' company pulled it through.
Probably Monday night in 2019, I believe. Against
Sounds about right.
Yes,
it was a primetime game.
The Phantom hands to the face calls. Oh, Lordy, yes. Bad memories, but we all have them as fans of any team, really. Even the Patriots back in the 90s, they had some bad memories. So you never get over them as an NFL fan, that's for sure. So moving on to the most heralded segment in Tom Green podcast, or we called it rapid fire before, but every time it wasn't actually rapid fire. We actually just broke down each game. So I just kind of moved it back to just pick'ems because, well, we love to talk football. That's why we're on the podcast. This isn't rapid fire. We're talking football. That's what we do. We are Americans. We talk football here. First game on the docket. We have 8 games on the docket, and for those that are playing along, we have a guest pick 'em, and we have a social media pick 'em. If at the end of the season you are the winner and you have the best winning percentage amongst all guests, you will receive a gift card or some winning of your choice of less than $25. And yeah, so that's kind of how that goes. If you are the winner at the end of the season, of course, you'll be contacted and things will be good on your end. So might want to go undefeated in this because we had a couple of years where we had an undefeated win the contest. So pick'ems for this week. We got 2 college games. We got 6 NFL games. First one coming up is Big Noon Saturday. Fox will be there. Gus Johnson, Joe Klatt, Jenny Taft will be calling Oregon and Ohio State. Who you got?
As much as I want to say Oregon because of, go Blue Michigan, I want to see Ohio State lose. I got to pick Ohio State.
You got to go Ohio State in that one. Yeah, Thibodeau is hurt for Oregon. CJ Stroud had some moments last week against Minnesota, but we all have those first inning jitters. Yeah, you got to give me Ohio State, even though I don't want to pick it. I kind of have to pick it. I like that pick. Give me Ohio State in that one. And finally, in college football, the Cy-Hawk Bowl, Iowa against Iowa State. The Fighting Kirk Ferences go to Ames and fight the Fighting Matt Campbells. Who you got?
I like Iowa. I'll go Iowa on that one.
You like Iowa on the road to upset Iowa State. Now in rivalry games, go ahead.
They are, but I do. I like, yeah, give me Iowa.
Gotcha. In rivalry games, you got to throw out the stats, but I think Iowa State is just a better team right now. And frankly, kind of should have won the Big 12 last year. But of course, Oklahoma's got to win every year. You can tell how tired I am of Oklahoma winning the Pac-12 just from that. God, I wish Tulane would have beaten them. I got to pick Iowa State in this game. But again, rivalry games, so I could very well be wrong there. So we go contrarian there. To the 6 NFL games on the docket for this week, we got tomorrow night's primetime special, America's team, and you can tell how enthused I am with this team, the Dallas Cowboys against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Who you got?
By the way, I was not involved in that voting for America's team. I did not vote them America's team. So I don't know when that voting took place, but I think we need a revote.
I second that.
And it's going to be Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay at home, coming off their Super Bowl win. They've got the better team.
The first time in Super Bowl history that all 53 starters, all 22 starters from on both sides of the ball are back with the same team to start the new season. Yeah, I got to go Tampa. America's team really is more or less the Cleveland Browns, if you ask me, because of Baker Mayfield and how good they're doing. Give me Tampa. Definitely take the 73-point spread on DraftKings if you want some free money. I'm going to put $25 on that tomorrow so I can get an easy 50. Give me Tampa on that one by 2 touchdowns at least. Going to Indianapolis, we have another West Coast team visiting an East Coast stadium, kind of like the game we just previewed. Seattle and Indy.
Now, the 49er fan in me wants to see Seattle lose. It's in a dome. Indy, let me see. Indy does have their quarterback, though I'm not sure how well that plays into it.
Let's say Indy's quarterback situation is way up in the air. Apparently, I believe Jacob Eason is going to be their starter because Carson Wentz is out with a foot injury, if I'm not mistaken.
Now, the last I saw, he actually was playing. So maybe unless something's changed, the last I saw, he was going to be dressing for week 1 playing.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, it's up in the air. So your information could be very accurate. I could be very wrong. And who knows? Because I've heard foot injury, I've heard COVID, I've heard just about everything. So
give me Seattle. I don't want them to win, but Seattle.
Despite the quarterback situation, whether Carson Wentz starts or Jacob Eason or whoever starts, for all we know, it could be Rodrigo Blankenship. Who knows who could be starting on Sunday afternoon in Indianapolis. Because it's a West Coast team traveling to a dome, I'm going to actually go Colts in this one because of that factor. It's week 1. The teams have had time to rest, but they're still not necessarily acclimated to playing week to week, and it could be a factor here in this game. Give me the Colts 27-24.
I'll be happy. I would be more than happy to lose this pick'em.
Rodrigo Blankenship hits a last-second field goal as the Colts walk it off in Indy. Chargers against the Washington football team, the Fighting Ryan Fitzpatricks.
Especially since Fitzmagic is the quarterback, give me Washington.
I'm going to take Washington in that one. Again, same thing as Seattle and Indy. West Coast team traveling to an East Coast place playing at 1 p.m. We've hit the wheel of Ryan Fitzpatrick where he becomes a starter and stinks, but not so much week 1. Give me Washington 21-10. I think the Chargers struggle, and the Washington's defense is maybe one of the more underrated units in the NFL this season. I have Washington winning the NFC East.
Ooh.
Yes, as I have said before on different shows, it is Dallas's division to lose, and they will lose it. Give me Washington 9-8 to win the division. Jacksonville and Houston, with close games, I usually go by a 2.5 spread unless it's a marquee game. With that small spread, you get good games and you get crap games. Sadly, this is one of the crap games. Jacksonville and Houston.
I'm taking Jacksonville. Houston's quarterback situation with Watson probably sitting and everything. Give me Jacksonville, even with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, I got to take Jacksonville as well because Houston, I was actually a bit upset at the USA Today poll putting the Lions as 32nd in the power rankings because I thought that 5 teams were worse than them. Both teams playing in this game are 2 of them. The other 3 being Cincinnati, the Jets, and the last one's escaping me at this exact moment, but at least 4 teams there that I told you that I believe are worse than the Detroit Lions. Give me Jacksonville in this game, 17-14. low scoring, and I almost kind of feel sorry for you if you are watching this game. Uh-oh.
I hope it's not on my schedule because it does sound boring.
Yeah, unfortunate. Sunday night football, Bears Rams.
This one could be quite exciting. I'm going to take the Rams at home, though. Under the lights, Matthew Stafford's got himself a new coach, new team. I think he's going to want to light it up.
Yes, give me the Rams in this one as well. 7.5 point spread. I actually think they cover. It's not because Chicago is bad. I think Chicago, I always tend to think Chicago is a little bit better than people think. And sometimes they prove me right. Other years they have proven me wrong. This is not the week to judge the Chicago Bears because they're going to be first game with fans at SoFi Stadium. It's going to be electric. It's going to be quite a sight to see. And I think the Rams not only win, but cover 27-13. Monday Night Football to wrap up the pick'em segment. Baltimore and Las Vegas.
My parents are Vegas fans.
The Raiders.
And I am going to throw them a bone and say Vegas wins this one. First time they have fans in their new stadium.
At Allegiant Stadium, also known as the Death Star for those Star Wars fans, because it sure looks like it.
I like that.
Baltimore is the better team, but because the Raiders are at home on Monday night, this is the first time in a few years, actually, that ESPN has moved away from the doubleheader on Monday night and just went one game on Monday night. Baltimore and the Raiders. Like I said, Baltimore's a better team, but I think Vegas wins this game based off the support they're going to get from fans at Allegiant Stadium, which Mark Davis, man, Mark Davis did something quite interesting over last season, and that was, Nevada, Park County, Nevada had said to Mark Davis, "Hey, you can have fans in your stadium if you want," and he said, "If I can't have a packed stadium, I don't want anybody here." And so that's when
I give him props. He's like, I'm not going to turn people away. I'd rather turn people away because I got a full stadium. So I give him props for that.
Exactly. Give me the Raiders 31-27 in a game that Raider fans will love, but I do not believe the Raiders will win many more games than that one. So that is our pick'em. We have two contrarians, so hopefully we'll see how that goes. Good luck to those playing in the social media pick'em at the end of the season, of course. We'll tell you who the winner is. So with that, the final question on the show. Anything else you have to add to this wonderful Tom Green podcast?
I'd just like to say it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Sure. I'm looking forward to a good season. Hopefully less COVID, players sitting out for COVID reasons. My fantasy team, though I did win my dynasty team last year, it was hard because I'd have random players sitting for COVID. And it just makes the game just less good when you have, because there were stars that sat out and you don't want to see that. So I'm hoping for a much better season. Go Niners. Hopefully we're playing in January.
Hopefully. As for my dynasty team, I was 6-1 after week 7. I finished 6-7 and missed the playoffs because of injuries and bye weeks.
Yeah, it's torture.
It was very torturous indeed. So good to have him on the show. He is Matt Woolsey, fellow Michigan fan. Go ahead, give us a final score prediction for Michigan-Washington, since we're both Michigan men.
Michigan wins. I'm going to say 30 to, it's going to be close. No, it's not. 30-21.
Nighttime at the big house. I've said it about our Michigan Wolverines. Playing at night is scary, but when you're at home, don't be worried. Don't you worry about a thing. Michigan 31, Washington 10.
Oh, It's even better.
I think Washington is going to be intimidated by the maze out of the big house, which I will be at. And I'm excited to have it. Haven't bought the ticket yet, but don't worry. StubHub, I'm just waiting for that money for that price to go down, and then I'm gonna buy it and we're gonna go to it.
You
He
won
is Matt
100,000.
Woolsey. And this has been another great edition of the Tom Green podcast. There we go.